Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cup Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you on a fantastic Wednesday. No, we're not on Wednesday. We're on Thursday. That just goes to show how much chaos there was yesterday. But how are we all? Hopefully, all of you are good and well. Of course. Again, how are we? After the Merseyside derby, of course. Look, I don't think many of us have recovered since, after, what happened last night. And especially, with Curtis Jones and Decore, all of a sudden fighting anyway. But let me know again how you lot are in the comments down below, really. Just chatting again, more from last night, of course. Obviously, a bit of, emotions gone down a little bit, I think, in terms of, again, obviously Liverpool, obviously the late equalizer, and of course, what happened throughout the game, and what we've had basically today in terms of, again, potential, bans and, other bits and pieces that have come out today in the media, which I think is quite hilarious as well, of course. But again, let me know how all of you are in the comments down below. Of course, we will be talking a little bit about, the madness last night that did happen. We'll talk about Arne Slot's ban as well, of course, and everything surrounding that as well. And of course, obviously talk about Liverpool's 7-point gap now at the top of the Premier League table, which, when you actually do consider it, is a very healthy lead to have. Let's be perfectly honest. And again, look, I don't think we would swap any team's position at the moment, would we, in terms of anyway position, and of course, where we currently are in terms of, again, everybody fit and so on as well. So look, we'll get on and we'll talk a little bit about that anyway. But one thing, of course, we're going to we'll obviously talk, what happened last night, of course, after the after full time, and of course, obviously, Curtis Jones getting a red card, to Corey getting a red card as well. I think watching, all the highlights in that, I think nobody, now including myself in that, can have a go at Curtis Jones anymore in a Liverpool shirt. Again, him sticking up, obviously, to Corey. Again, I don't get what he's doing. If I'm being perfectly honest, of course, Everton supporters will be, enjoying that, and of course, kind of like, the reverse of it in terms of, again, if that was maybe Curtis Jones towards Everton supporters, again, obviously they would have different opinions to that. But of course, them getting both red carded as well, double yellowed, if you want anyway. I do think it would have been very interesting if maybe Curtis Jones hadn't been booked, whether or not it would have been a straight red card, because the ref showed a double yellow for both. It wasn't just a simple, like, oh, here's a red card, here's a red card. He did show both double yellow and then a red. So obviously they are going to be banned just for one game. Obviously for Curtis, it's as simple as he's going to be banned for, of course, Wolves. I think elsewhere, when we talk now in a minute about managers and so on as well, of course, we will talk a little bit about it, of course, anyway. But big up Damo as well, saying to give Slot an automatic too much ban or not to give Slot an automatic too much ban. That is the question for the FA as well. Yeah, we will talk a little bit about it, won't we? As well. But Cameron says Oliver had a shocker. He did have a shocker. We'll talk a little bit about him as well in tonight's show, of course. But big up Ant as well, saying you guys were lapping up Trent. Shushing Man City fans, not trying to wind up, but just interested, isn't it? There's a difference between that, though, because it's a celebration of a goal. Like, I'm not deliberately, or I don't think Trent deliberately at full time went to the City fans and started shushing them. Same with Vardy. Vardy's done it in the moment, and I know you've seen it said over there. I love that side of the game. Vardy has been doing it for a decade, but can't moan when players do it to us. But that's during the game, straight after the game, full time. You'd never see people do that. And yeah, that's just my opinion anyway. But yeah. Look, I think he's stupid for it anyway. And obviously looking for a reaction, obviously, trying to mouth Van Dijk as well after the game. And obviously when Arne Slot got sent off as well, tried to, go at Arne Slot as well. Like, I think he's stupid, for being perfectly honest. Cameron says, do you think we still hang on, my eyes just rolled all into one. Then, do you think we still win the league? In your opinion? Yes, I do. I still think Liverpool win the Premier League this season. Red card for a sarcastic handshake is crazy, mad, very petty. The ref that keeps taking his world big up. Hawklord as well, I think it is. But yeah, I think. Again, let's talk then about the Arne Slot red card, because I want to talk to you guys about it in particular as well. And of course, yeah, sarcastic handshake. Of course, that's the thing they're going for. Now, the one thing that I thought was very interesting today was the Premier League. The Premier League came out on their website officially as well, coming out and confirming an Arne Slot 2-game ban for, in their words, offensive, insulting, or abusive language that they used on their Premier League website. So if I quickly get up James Pearce's tweet here, so there you go. So the Premier League has since deleted the line about Arne Slot being handed a 2-game touchline ban for using offensive, insulting, or abusive language. It was on their website, I believe, for half an hour or just a little bit over it, and then it was taken down. In my opinion, and again, there's been different reports around, what Arne Slot, has done anyway. But let me just quickly get this up as well from Lewis Steele as well, which I thought was very interesting. So from Lewis Steele, as you guys can see there, but saying a bit technical this, but as it stands, Arne Slot is not banned from the touchline for the Wolves game. The FA will review the ref's report today and decide whether to charge him or not. Depends on whether they deem it standard case with a set sanction or non-standard, which results in a hearing. Because he has already served a touchline ban this season, there is a chance it will be the latter. So very unlikely it gets resolved before Sunday. So to conclude, he could be in the dugout against Wolves and then be charged, banned, and fined at a later date. The Premier League website saying he is banned for 2 games was an error, however you want to pronounce it. Anyway, which again, they haven't really come out and said anything about it. Which again, shocked. The Premier League don't do things right. But, and I've said this to a couple of people today, for me, I think the Premier League are the writings on the wall, what they're going to do and what the plan is to do. And I'm going to call it now. Their simple plan is they won't charge him. They've got till Monday to charge him. They won't charge him. Arne Slot will be in charge for, and of course the assistant as well, will be in charge for Wolves. They'll both be there for Wolves. Then what is simply going to happen is they'll charge Arne Slot again. He then will suffer a 2-game ban because he's already had the game ban. And then that's simply Arne Slot will not be on the touchline for Villa away and Manchester City away. That is the plan, and it's so blatantly obvious what they're going to do, which I think is laughable. Again, if we're sat here Monday and we're talking about, there's nothing in terms of a ban or anything like that, then I'll be surprised. I'll be very, very shocked if there isn't a ban. But I do think that is the plan from the Premier League or whoever it is, PGMOL. Is Arne Slot will miss Villa and will miss Man City, which will that have a massive effect? Obviously, for Villa, of course, it would mean that probably, most likely Johnny Heitinger will, of course, be in charge for Villa away from home. But then, of course, obviously, unless, whatever according to them is abusive language, whether or not Arne Slot used it or not. Again, knowing the Premier League, they'll try and use an example. They tried to use Virgil van Dijk as an example back a year ago against Newcastle, when supposedly Virgil van Dijk told the referee, he can't do his effing job. And then they used him as an example for a 1-match ban, as well as the red card that he did suffer as well. So I do think it's I do think it is writing on the wall. I think he will be banned. But again, whether or not that is, before anyway. But of course, we'll know tomorrow. I think more about it in terms of, again, obviously journals coming out, and of course Arne Slot's press conference as well. Because that's going to be a very, very interesting watch tomorrow morning on what he does say anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments, and let me know, do you also agree with me that again they'll try and delay it, so it'll be Villa away and Man City away, that Arne Slot does miss anyway. But yeah, the red card for Slot was a bit much. I just think Oliver lost the game. You guys, I've already ranted about it yesterday, but yeah, I got this up yesterday in terms of terrible referee, and he is a terrible referee. I think the things that people went back to today, and when obviously dissected, of course, things that he hasn't given the last couple of years, you kind of go like, what the hell, like. But again, I think it's very, very, very funny anyway. But not trying to wind you up, just generally see it slightly difficult and differently, but I hope you're well. But I hope you're not well, Anthony. I'm kidding. Hopefully you are good, mate, as well. But no, like, it's the thing is, I don't want to sound like Arsenal fans, because Arsenal fans have been complaining about it all season. And of course, obviously, everyone will go, oh, you'll say it when obviously it affects your team, and of course you will. But I genuinely think it's an embarrassment that the so-called best referee they have has such an awful game, and he's had a few bad games and a few bad decisions as of late. Even this season, I think people have dialed through and had a look at not only Liverpool games but overall games where he's had stinkers, and supposedly that's the best that they have. I think it's very laughable. But then, in also saying that, mind, I think yesterday, was it the Club Bruges game? You go around UEFA, and I said, they need to get, they need to get UEFA referees or foreign referees into the Premier League. But watching that, if anybody has seen it, the Club Bruges and Atalanta game, the penalty that they give for the winner, Jesus Christ, that's such a bad penalty to give. Laughable pen, to be fair, to be given, but like, that's in the Champions League anyway, which we haven't got to worry about for a while anyway. But what a shock, they removed it. Yeah, lol. PGMOL frauds, big up Ozan as well. Yeah, again, we could probably have a whole show talking about PGMOL and just them themselves anyway. But then we're saying only players get automatic 2-match bans, not managers who have to face an FA charge. So have the FA prejudged the decision before even seeing the ref report. Another good process, boys, as well. No, so he'd be given a 2-match ban anyway because he's already been suspended. So obviously players, if players get a straight red card, if it's a straight red card that isn't violent conduct, or they don't deem to be violent conduct, it's obviously a game ban, isn't it? If it's violent conduct, then it's 3 games. Obviously, double yellow to a red is a game ban. But managers, even a red card is just a 1-game ban. But because Arne Slot's already been given a ban, it then mounts up to 2. And then I think then it then obviously progresses a bit more. So obviously now, if he was to obviously get the ban now, come back and then get sent off again during a game, that then would deem him then to obviously have a 3-match ban in the future. I think even potentially as well. I think that's how it works, at least anyway. But if that is the case, then yeah, it's ridiculous. 1-game ban and a fine. Well, hopefully no game ban. That'll be the best thing ever. 2 of the most important away games of the season, Con. Yeah, absolutely agree. I think the next couple of games is huge. I think the Wolves game is huge, because I think if Liverpool, say if Leicester, for example, take points off Arsenal, Arsenal of course are struggling with injuries at the minute. So again, if they end up drawing or even losing, Liverpool got to take advantage of that, because if Arsenal were to lose or to draw, if they lose, Liverpool beat Wolves, 10 points clear. If they draw, you look at that and you go, Liverpool then would have a pretty healthy lead in terms of 9 points then as well. So like Liverpool, we've just got to do our business. I think we've got 8 games left at home this season. If we win all of them, we win the league. Simple as that, realistically. So again, the Villa away, if we were to get if we were to get a win away to Villa, would be huge. City away as well would also be huge. I think we have to get at least 4 points against Villa and City, and then I think you're in that comfortable bracket, really. But again, obviously that's wishful thinking in terms of Arsenal dropping points to Leicester anyway. But Cameron says I'll take that as well. Oliver lost control of the game in the first half with Ganagay and Bradley incident as well. Yeah. Do you know what? What makes me more frustrated as well about the whole situation, the whole scenario, was just like watching it back this morning. The first foul, going for their the free kick leading to their first goal. I watched that this morning and just laughed because it's so bad. Like it's like you've seen fouls and you go, that's never a foul, but that is a genuine dive. And yeah, like Jesus Christ, we could be there all day watching that, couldn't we? Which is laughable, to be fair, at least anyway. But one thing I will say though as well, obviously adding to, of course, obviously Lewis Steele's report, at least anyway. Let me quickly get it up for you guys. Did I actually save that or not? What do we not save it now? And then I have got to go and search for it. I have got to search for it. Well done, Con. That's brilliant. Where I save everything else and some things that I don't need for tonight, and then don't save the actual thing I want to save. It's an absolute brilliant master plan from me, anyway. There we go. So again, speaking of Arne Slot, anyway. There we go. So obviously this is on Anfield Sector, but of course it was from Lewis Steele's article piece earlier, saying that many believe that Slot was sent off for an aggressive handshake given to Oliver, but sources who were in spitting distance of the event have told Mail Sport that the real reason was that Slot was punished for 2 separate rants. Referee believed warned a red card as well. So, release the audio. PGMOL, please. Thank you. That will hopefully be the dream anyway. But look, I think it'll be interesting. If we don't hear anything tomorrow, then it'll be Monday. Then we'll hear something for sure anyway. But Hawklord says Slot must have been really pissed off because there wasn't even an after match press conference there. According to the rules, you can't have a press conference if you've been sent off, which is weird. I've never heard of that before. So obviously the assistant manager would have been taking over it, but of course he got sent off, so there just wasn't a press conference after the game. I don't know if David Moyes did one. Haven't checked that out, so I haven't heard anything from David Moyes. I just seen quotes of David Moyes saying that the referee had a good game, and yeah, it's just laughable. But Damon says some of the free kicks not given, etc., against Mo at the end of the game were inevitable, and not even Howard Webb would have had the brass neck to try and explain that one away. Yeah, I genuinely that Mo one, like Jesus, and I think it's pretty telling as well when the ex PGMOL chief came out after the game. I don't know whether or not if he did it on a certain thing or whether or not it was his own comments somewhere anyway. But of course, him saying that, really critiquing Michael Oliver of, again, his performance really in the game, and obviously saying, he was weak-minded and saying that, again, that he didn't have no control over the game, and I absolutely agree with it. Like from minute 1 to minute 90, and it's not only just the Liverpool side of things, even the Everton side of things. There were some things where we got away with a little bit throughout the game, but still, just general, like, just the general game of it. Like he did not have a good game at all. It was an awful game from him. But again, supposedly the best referee in the country. So this ref Oliver, incompetent or biased, I don't think it's corruption. It's not corruption. It's just the standard. Realistically, let's be honest. Realistically, it's it's the way referees have been. Um, what was it, about 15, 20 years ago, you'd maybe know one referee's name, or one referee in particular. Now you know every single one of them. And what does that tell you, realistically? But I just think he's a crap referee. I'm not gonna lie. But there's so many things. Even in big games, you've got the double, what was it, the double red card that should have been against Man City and Arsenal, a couple of seasons ago. Last season for us, the Doku Konfu kick into McAllister's chest. The Premier League now were very happy to show that off as an example of a high kick and a foul. But during that period, they were like, no, not a foul. The referee got his spot on, this, that, and the other. And everybody knew, what a load of crap. Even Manchester City fans in that day was like, we never know how that wasn't a free kick or penalty, realistically, which I think is hilarious to this day. But we are struggling with being shite everywhere. You have more faith in Leicester than me. I have 1% faith. Hey, look, they haven't got a forward line to begin with, so just defend. Just get a point. Go 0-0. I'll be happy with that. And no way less to take points off Arsenal. Hey, look, Ruud van Nistelrooy, you've done it plenty of times against Arsenal. That's all I'm saying. Do it again, please, and thank you. Anyway, but a 7-2 Arsenal against Leicester. I love it, Ozan. But pick up Gary as well as the Italian being Nunes must start the rest of the games now. I think against Wolves, I would agree with. I think I just don't play the false nine. Luis Diaz doesn't work, unfortunately. But yeah, start Darwin, start Diogo Jota. Hopefully we'll have some news tomorrow that Cody's all right. Seen no news today regards of him. Regards in terms of whether or not he's fit, because of course he did limp off, didn't he, with the game yesterday, which was a bit worrying to see. But again, hopefully we'll have some good news tomorrow in Arne Slott's press conference, unless, again, of course, he's suspended from doing that, which I don't think he is. But I take that 2 shots would be fantastic, let alone 2 goals. Anyway, but why not give Slot a yellow for the first rant if it was so bad? Okay. His head was gone, wasn't it, realistically? I just don't think I think once he had that, I think once that sarcastic, I'm going to put in quotation marks, sarcastic handshake was in the, in their minds, I think automatically he's going to be given a red card. Just the way they are, isn't it? But Moyes did. I saw it on Facebook. Jesus. Ogo said, I didn't know that. Thanks. So the assistant manager / coach couldn't even held the conference. No, because he got sent off. It's a weird rule. I didn't know this neither till last night. So yeah, if the manager gets sent off in the game, he can't take control of the press conference either. I don't know whether or not if they're serving a ban. I don't know whether or not if they can do it. But I do think. I think when they get sent off, the rule is they can't do the press conference. So again, that and the assistant manager getting sent off again. We could have potentially had Johnny Heitinger taking it over, but again, I don't think they'll do that. Anyway, of course. But hello, Jack. Anyway, But Jack Mack in the building anyway. It's freaking nice to actually see Jack in the building. Just read this. Michael Oliver was labelled weak after his involvement in the Liverpool 2-2 draw with Everton with ex-PGM World Chief Chiquita. Yeah, that's what I was going on about. Again, he made the video, didn't he, last night, talking about it. I don't know where it was, or where he was. I think he might have been doing it for something. I wouldn't be too surprised if it was Football Insider, but I'd be very intrigued to know where he was doing that with anyway. But do you have any voice left today, Jack, after yesterday's marathon as well? To be fair, if anybody if anybody wants to know where Jack is in terms of content, of course he is over on Anfield Index now as well, doing a good job as well, if I do say so myself. But yeah, obviously on the watch alongs, and yeah, I'm already going to say to you guys, Jack, to be fair, Jack I think is doing probably the best as of anyone in terms of watch alongs, because again the clips are very funny, and look, I do enjoy as well. And was it towards the end of the game yesterday? I think Jack was losing his absolute marbles in terms of the game. That's my song lad as well, says Ozan, and that's where my name comes from. Yeah, Ozan Kabak as well. I genuinely thought Ozan Kabak could have been a good centre back for Liverpool once upon a time, and then watched him against Everton at Anfield and was like, yeah, no, absolutely not. Anyway, but look, at the end of the day, one thing I wanted to talk about as well, Liverpool being 7 points clear now at the top, which again is a good, it is a great position to be in. Of course it is. Like I think Jack told me earlier on that this is Liverpool's fourth highest point tally at this stage of a season ever. Which again, if that is true, then again, I think that goes to show the amazing job that Arne Slot is doing at the moment. But again, one defeat now, going into a very, very tough period. Where we've got Villa away, we've got City away, Newcastle as well coming up at home, obviously Wolves as well on the weekend. But I think if Liverpool can get, what are we saying, 369? If we can get 10 points out of the next 4 games, I think everybody would take that. Obviously, if we can get 12 out of 12, that'd be brilliant. But I think if we can get 10 points out of the next 12, I think that would be very, very good. As well, considering as well during that time, Arsenal go to Forest away, and they also go to I think Manchester United away as well. So again, Liverpool have tough games, but Arsenal do as well in that aspect of things as well. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, but do you think Jones deserved the red card? I do. I get the reaction, but he started. Yeah, like I don't argue against the Curtis Jones red card. It was a red card, just due to the reaction, and obviously him and Decore. Decore deserved a red card as well. But I look at it and go, that side of it, yeah, 100%. Like I was surprised maybe. I thought there might have been even more red cards considering, look at the, what happened. But I think, in terms of the Liverpool assistant getting sent off and Arne Slot getting sent off, which I thought that part of it was hilarious, the fact that them two got sent off. Because, I haven't seen where our assistant got sent off. Some people were saying he got sent off when he was shouting at Michael Oliver to give Decore a red card. I don't know whether or not if that is the case, and I haven't seen no footage of it, but I do think that part of it I think is ridiculous. But again, I agree with the Curtis Jones red card. I don't think anybody can realistically argue against that. To be fair, because look, it did start everything, didn't it? Realistically, as as this photo we've got for the Merseyside derby, as that goes to show, like again, they both started it realistically. But I think for on a Liverpool side of things, of course, against Wolves now on Sunday, like I probably think Curtis Jones might have started that game. So again, that obviously that won't help Arne Slot in terms of potentially obviously rotating, but again, he could even start Curtis Jones against Villa now, maybe. But I do think it is potentially interesting to see maybe what happens as well. Anyway, but I can't see us dropping the points for Arsenal to catch us. To be honest, we just need to do what we've been. And I'm confident now we get the title. I said this last night. If Liverpool had won, I 100% I would agree. I think again though we need to keep it going, if that makes sense, because we've seen how Arsenal and the whole Arsenal environment got when they were, when they were in distance of 4 points. I think obviously we had two games in hand, didn't we? And they were 4 points behind. And of course they genuinely thought that they could catch up. Of course, obviously Liverpool obviously getting knocked out of the FA Cup, obviously last minute equaliser last night. It could be very easy that Liverpool drop their heads. But I think it's Arne Slot needs to, again, obviously through the Wolves game, needs to keep these boys going, because again, I absolutely agree with you. I think if Liverpool just do what we have been doing this season, we go on and win the Premier League title. And of course, it does depend as well on what Arsenal do, because if they were to lose, well, for example, that Forest game is huge because Forest are only 3 points off of them. I think as well. I think obviously they're 10 points. Are they 10 points behind us? Let me double check, because to be fair, I checked the table when we were beating Buddy when we were beating Everton, and all afterwards. I've not checked it since. Anyway, but looking at it now, yeah, so we're 10 points above Forest, but they're only 3 points behind Arsenal. So again, when we talk about Arsenal trying to keep up with us, they've kind of got to get themselves separated away from Forest. Because again, if Forest were to beat them, was it next week? I think it is. Again, they obviously goal difference, Arsenal are miles ahead, but again on points, Forest are going to be right up there with them. To be fair as well. So when you look at it, and I've seen a couple of Arsenal fans say that they think that it's going to be a top four race now for them because of the injuries, but I think they'll still finish second. Obviously Saka potentially coming back, but obviously their front three at the minute is, what is it, Trossard, now Wanyeri and Sterling at the minute. I think that's okay. It's not going to be great against top teams, but it'll do for now. But I do think, I think if they're not going to go for the title, I think they'll still be top four. Absolutely. But Damon says Slot was tempting fate when he called for cool heads. Yeah, absolutely. Their top scorers are all injured now. Although their defense is very good, they haven't the firepower at the minute. It wouldn't surprise me though if they went full. It's full Brexit football the way to talk about it. I'm not so sure, but I do think Arsenal. It wouldn't surprise me if they went five back. Well, obviously Ben White I think is coming back for them now as well. Could they go three back and try and play kind of like a wing back formation? Could that be a case? Obviously, I know they've gone out and done warm weather training, which obviously Kai Havertz snapped his hamstring, or done his hamstring with. But could they change system now? So late into the season, potentially. A back three of Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, wing backs of Calaflori and Timber. Is that what they're going to go with? I'm not so sure. Kind of do what Xabi Alonso's done at Leverkusen. Is that an option for him? While their forward line is out, I think it is probably a way that they could get around it. But again, I think overall, Arsenal are in trouble, with their forward line anyway. But I think on the Liverpool side of things as well, it's obviously, like I said, we got 8 games at home. Actually, to be fair, I'll read out the home games now. We've also got Arsenal in that as well. So again, I fully expect Liverpool to win that game. For me, at least, anyway, I think we go on to win that game. But looking at the games at home for Liverpool, at least, anyway, obviously Wolves on the weekend, Newcastle at home, Southampton at home, Everton at home, which again I think all of us be looking forward to. West Ham at home, Spurs at home, Arsenal at home, and Palace at home. I think if we were to win all of them, obviously we go on and win the title by doing that. But realistically, like I said, if we can get 10 points out the next 12, and then after that, you've then got Southampton, which I think is 3 points for Liverpool. You've then got the League Cup final, which hopefully Liverpool will win. But then you've got Everton at home, Fulham away. Obviously, you'll have Champions League coming up, which hopefully for Liverpool we get the better tie, if that makes sense. Again, I think there is a possibility where Liverpool play PSG, which, again, that would be frustrating if that ended up happening. But again, it's all hopes a minute and dreams, of course, in terms of Liverpool, of course, getting a good run going as well, which hopefully that will be the case towards the end of the season. But that'll help Arsenal if Ben White gets up off his sunbed. Sorry, meant to say sick bed. Bloody autocorrect as well. But to be fair, Ben White is one of the most weirdest people going, where he does. And I know some footballers are like this, where they don't like football. When they class it as a job. They don't class it as a love anymore. They class it as fully as a job, and then don't bother any. Once they're done with it, they don't bother with it. I find that weird. Like, if you're a footballer, surely you love football. But yeah, that's just that's just my opinion anyway. But no, look, I think just speaking on the final thoughts anyway of the video. Look, last night was disappointing, wasn't it? Obviously drawing, but I think overall, like, again, it kind of felt like Newcastle away. I feel sorry for Mo Salah, mainly because, again, him breaking more records. Again, obviously, I think he's got the most goal involvement away from home, I think, of anyone through history. I think he beat Andy Cole, didn't he, last night, which in a single season. So again, his numbers at the minute is ridiculous. The fact that he's on 36 goal involvements this season, again, he is having an all-time season. And I think at the moment, and let me just double check that as well. But yeah, this season he has been unstoppable. So Mo Salah's on 36 goal involvements now for the season. The closest one is Alexander Isak with 22. Like, that's an unbelievable season, and he is having an all-time season. Where again we can talk about Ballon d'Ors. Again, he has to, of course, win the Premier League. Liverpool need to go far in the Champions League, if not win the Champions League. And if we was to do that, if he was to win the Premier League, win the Champions League, have the season he's had, then, why can't Mo Salah win the Ballon d'Or? I think he's proven now he needs to be in the top caliber of players. Spoken about. I think the Premier League conversation. I think when we talk about it overall, obviously, for many people, the only player above him at the minute in terms of the all-time list is Thierry Henry. Again, you can't argue against it. But I think as of this season, if he goes on to win the Premier League title, goes on to win another Player of the Year, again, he'll have the most PFA Player of the Years than anyone in history. In terms of, I think he'll get 3. I think, again, nobody's won 3. To be fair, he'll be on 2 Premier League titles. If, for example, if they go on to win the Champions League, 2 Champions Leagues, like, that would be a legacy. He's already left a legacy, but he's adding to it. And of course, hopefully, the main important one will be him signing a new contract, which hopefully he does do anyway. But look, that's the only the disappointing thing is the fact that Liverpool ended up throwing the win away. But the positive out of it is again Mo Salah, and his records at the minute is unbelievable. Of course, there's other plenty of stuff to look at it. Of course, the fact that Liverpool didn't really play good, but got 2 goals out of the game. I think that does go to show some credit. We're going to be doing a video tomorrow. Obviously, the Wolves preview is tomorrow night, but there is a video going to be released on the channel tomorrow day at some point. It's probably around 12, I think, or 1, just depending on the time I edit it. Of course, talking about Gravenberch and how Everton, to be fair to them, did a very good job in frustrating Liverpool with Gravenberch. I feel like we really didn't, we didn't see Gravenberch at his best, why he got taken off potentially, because Everton did such a great job in blocking us from stopping us play realistically. I think that caused us problems in many ways as well. But that's going to be tomorrow on the channel anyway. But hello, Luke, as well. Vinicius Jr. would probably sumo if he wins the Ballon d'Or this year as well. To be fair, Vinny Jr. is not in the conversation at the minute. Around there, I'd say realistically, right now, like as of things right now, of course, many things can change at the end of the season. But I think as of things right now, the only 2 players that is in the conversation is Mo Salah and Rafinha. Rafinha this season is having an unbelievable year at Barca. Excuse me. If Mo wasn't having his performance in the way he's doing things at the moment, I think everybody would be speaking about Rafinha at Barca. And again, if they win the Champions League, I think maybe then there's conversations around that. But at the minute, them 2 are running away with it. And of course, obviously, if Real Madrid do go on to win the Champions League again, obviously everybody then will talk about Vinny Ballon d'Or. But realistically, Mo Salah could end up scoring 60-odd goals this season, or have 60-odd involvements in goals. And yeah, I think Mo deserves it more than anyone at the moment anyway. But I need to talk about Cunha Con. That'll be tomorrow. That will be tomorrow's video. He could cause us problems. Yeah, he could. But again, hopefully we'll be ready for it anyway. But I am going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Big thank you for everyone for tuning in to tonight's show. I do very much appreciate it, as always. If you are new around here, of course, do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. It does very much help out the channel. As always, but like I said, there'll be 2 videos tomorrow. An upload in the day will be, of course, speaking about Gravenberch, and like I said, Wolves preview will be tomorrow. We'll also have shorts up as well from Arne Slot's press conference. Hopefully we'll have some sort of idea of what's going to happen. I'd love him to absolutely tear into Michael Oliver, which would be funny. But I don't know whether or not if he does that, he'll get him even more of a ban anyway, which we don't want. But it would be funny, wouldn't it, if he just absolutely tore Michael Oliver a new one anyway. But did I spell it wrong? Did I actually spell it wrong? Derby Chaos, no? Did I spell that wrong or did I spell it right? I don't know. I'll have to have a look now. That'll do my head in if I've spelled it wrong. Great stream as well. Thank you, Oaklord, as well. Big up Damo as well. Cheers for the therapy session. To be fair, like I think I did spell it wrong. Oh, bloody hell. I'll have to fix that now. Yeah, to be fair, I just thought we'd talk about it a little bit. Says I spelled right. That's me typing so quickly. I'll fix that now. It'll be right now. Anyway, but yeah. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Anyway, I will fix that now as soon as I go off the stream. Anyway, I can actually see it now, which to be fair, that's annoying. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed tonight's episode. Like I said, tomorrow will be the match preview. Anyway, but yeah, until next time, guys. That's gonna be it from me. Anyway, I've been Connor from the Cop Council. See you guys later on. Ta-ra.